Thanks for joining us at the You Matter podcast, where you matter as an individual. You have a purpose, you have a mission, and we're here to share ours with you to encourage you. So we encourage you to keep listening and take what you will, leave what you don't, but stick around and get what you will. So today it's very much an honor to invite Kyndal Ray as a guest to this podcast. He has an amazing story. Hi, Kendall. Um,
Hey,
he is working on being in the Guinness World Book of Records. Did I say that right? Guinness World Book, or is it World? I don't know. You tell me. How is it?
Guinness World Record book. It's not a guarantee, but it could be a possibility for sure. If not, it's in my own mind, definitely a world record.
Okay, a world record. And tell us what your record is all about, Kendall.
To be the first person to walk and run to all four corners of the lower 48 states of America on a continuous route. I've been at this journey for over 4 years. Started January 1st, 2022, feet in the Atlantic Ocean, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, near where I live. Walked coast to coast all the way to Long Beach, Washington, over 3,000 miles, 13 states, then up to the northwestern point of Washington, Cape Flattery, to hit my first corner, the entire west coast down to the southwestern point of California, Borderfield State Park near San Diego, to finish my second corner through the Mojave Desert to Las Vegas, the Grand Canyon, Forest Gump Point, and Monument Valley, Utah, Four Corners Monument, all the way back to Jacksonville Beach, Florida, to Cedar Key, Florida, down to Naples, through the Everglades, down to Key West, where I am currently at right now. And yes, February 1st, just so you know, in case you weren't sure, this coming up Sunday, I start part four, only counting the days I walk on the days I actually walk. My last day was day 861. Day 862 will start at the southernmost point of Key West, Florida, and then we'll start heading up to the northeastern point, Lubeck, Maine, the West Quaddy Lighthouse, hoping to be done by the end of July, because then we're doing the Leadville 100 in August.
Amazing. First of all, that's a lot of directions. Second of all, it is my intention to meet up with Kendall on his way back so we can actually meet face to
Soon.
face and I can give you a hug because this
Very
man,
soon.
yes, very soon. So this is our first introduction and we came together because we have the same message that we want to share with you. And that's that you matter. You can
Thank
be
you.
any race, any religion, any political, standing, anything, but you as an individual, as a human, have the power to change the world around you in little ways to retrain negative thinking into positive thinking. And that's what this podcast is really focused on, is just sharing the stories and encouraging you with people that have went through it. Let's be real, we've all went through it, especially since COVID. I feel like the whole world is in a traumatic state. I would say the majority. It's like we haven't went back to the way that we were before. And connection is key. And I feel strongly that connection is an art that's losing itself. But Kendall, so his message is you matter too. Please share some of the challenges and what brought you to this mission.
Um, Life's got a lot of challenges, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um, so I'm walking across for mental health awareness and recovery. I walk in remembrance of our loved ones. Literally, I have banners and shirts with over 4,400 names, sadly enough, of people that follow this journey, that have submitted their loved ones that are no longer with us due to those causes, ODs, unaliving, things like that.
Yeah.
We're here to let them know that they'll never be forgotten and will always be in our hearts. We're walking for the ones that are currently struggling, to let them know like there is hope, that
Yeah.
we do recover, that we all have value and purpose. And of course, my favorite two words, you matter. And I'm also been using the words you are enough a lot lately as well. Just all about love, light, kindness, and positivity. And the reason that I walk is not just because people are struggling or sadly people are losing their lives. I walk because in the last 18 years of my life, I have tried to unalive myself twice. I have overdosed. I've been in county jail 11 times, in prison twice. I'm 32 years old. I have 13 felony convictions and many more misdemeanors on top of that.
Wow.
Um, I'm a firm believer that my past does not define me.
Yeah.
I do say drug. I do say drug free over sober for a reason. I did carry a medical card on this journey for a long time. It expired. I don't, that was not my problem. But I'm over 81 months drug free. April 12th, 2019, during a 5-year prison sentence, was the day that I decided to change my life. Now I'll backtrack because I did grow up in a good family. My parents are still together after 37 years of marriage, I believe. And if I got that wrong, sorry, Mom. I know it's 1 or 2 years to that, but I'm 37 or 38 years of marriage now. Incredible long time. One of the challenges was, my father was disabled at a very young age, so there wasn't like a crazy close relationship and where we always went out and did stuff. But he was always in the house. You know what I'm saying? So he was there. He was present. But it wasn't like that. I grew up in the church every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, private school, all of that.
Same.
Sadly, I was sexually abused in the church at a very young age. Didn't understand the severity of that till years later, after we had ended up going over to a different church. And one of my addictions before I ever knew what substance abuse and things like that was Little Debbie's cosmic brownie Christmas trees were my favorite. One of the churches we went to, we had a Little Debbie vendor that would give us all these boxes of off shelf ones that were still good to eat. So like I developed a really heavy weight gain by the age of 11, 12 years old. I had just no self-esteem. I was just depressed. I had a good caring family, a lot of church friends, this, that, and the other, but even in a room full of people, I felt alone. I just,
Yeah.
you know, um, leading to like my freshman year of high school, trying to fit in and all of that stuff. Just One day I tried to take my life after that, during my freshman year of high school. And this is where God was really, really been present in my life because I had saved up lunch money to buy a gun from a kid at school. Um, I ended up going behind these garages in the apartments that we lived in, sat back there, had a little talk with myself, all of that, put the gun to my head, pulled the trigger, and it didn't fire. Then I turned around and it fired. And I didn't understand, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and like I tossed the gun, went and like cried myself in my bed. Knew I didn't understand even at that point that I was there for a reason. It freaked me out. I didn't know. I hadn't been around guns. I don't know nothing. You know what I mean? Like we didn't grow up with guns in our house or anything like that. Like we never went hunting or I to this day, I've actually never been hunting. I've done fishing a lot. I've never been hunting in my life. And I'm a 13-time convicted felon, so I'd have to go like learn it with a bow or muzzle loader. I don't mind doing that.
You're cracking
But
me up.
but but all of that, and I'm sorry I talk so fast. I have a lot to say, and I know how the time. Um,
It's on your time, Kendall. Seriously, I mean, this is the first I've heard this part of your story, and I'm close to in tears because I know
oh,
that your purpose is unbelievable. I mean, what you're doing is unbelievable. I just wanted to pipe in. I don't want to get you off track, so go ahead, but just know you can
oh,
take your time.
absolutely.
More
And
than
I know I have a story, but I know that there's so many people that have been through so much worse than I have, even from what I'm about to get into, that I really do still have it good, even through the trauma and stuff like that. Like I've learned forgiveness and things
yes.
over the years, which has just been so vital for me moving forward in life and things like that. So, but so much forgiveness has been shown to me for the people that I've heard living the lifestyle that we're about to get into. So, like when it comes to the challenges in battles, I was addicted to lying and stealing and pornography years before I knew what drugs were.
Mhm.
We lived at an Atlantic Self Storage, which is a storage facility, but we didn't live in a storage unit or nothing. My parents were like the managers of it, and there's an apartment above, like Atlantic Self Storage. They actually like house you.
Okay.
So we lived upstairs. The office was downstairs. So all those people that couldn't come in every month to pay their bills, like out of state, out of the country, whatever, that we had a book full of credit card numbers. I
Oh.
had access to hundreds and hundreds of people's credit cards at a very young age. So at first it started with a video game that one of my mom's coworkers, he was called a floater. He would go to different offices, but he would play this game called Mafia Boss, and I would watch him play this game. And I ended up using like 5 different credit cards, and I bought my way to number one in the world out of like 10 million people in like
And how old were you?
a
How
few
old were you?
hours just spending money on people. I was like 11 years old or
See, and
something
at
like that.
11 years old, I have an 11-year-old boy. So as you share this, it's like you were just a kid. You were trying to win a video game, but this is how,
And I had access to all this stuff I shouldn't.
right.
11 or 12. Yeah. So, and this is the thing. I had access to all that. I ended up using my mom's credit card number like within the same month that all these credit cards are declining. And she's got a call. Hey, like your
Oh,
credit card's not working. Your credit card's not working. Your credit card's not like it's left and right. And then my mom puts two and two together when her credit card
oh,
hits and dings for something. And this is the thing, like I was buying like all these pornographic websites and going to church and handing the passwords out to kids.
oh,
Like at church. Like I was the bad person. I was the black sheep. I was the bad seed. Even though I grew up in a good house, I was the bad seed and I didn't care. And I get my butt beat. My mom has rinsed my mouth out with soap numerous times for lying and this, that, and the other. And I run it back. Like I don't like it, but run it back. Like I didn't care, you know. So all these challenges and stuff, lying and stealing. I didn't even know what drugs were till I was 15 years old, and I went downhill quick. So I ended up, you know, and throughout all of it, still in church every Sunday and Wednesday. Throughout all of it, still in church
oh
every
boy, do
Sunday
we
and
have a
Wednesday.
similar story. I was also the black sheep. I actually used to tell my story. I was like, I was the worst kid I've ever met. But that's for another time. We're talking about you. But just know that I'm empathetic in all of ways.
Right, and I'm so grateful to have a great relationship with my family
Mm,
now,
yeah.
and that's a part of and that's the part of the story where things change and stuff like that. Um, but doing all that, the so I learned how to play music in the church. First person I ever got high with was my best friend, the bass player in my praise band, and we had been best friends for a couple of years before that. And then he starts getting high, and then I want to start getting high, and then and it's kind of weird, especially being in a church kid growing up the way we grew up in the area that we lived in. Gangs weren't really a thing, but this dude had moved from out of state and was trying to start his own thing. And like him and my buddy became best friends, and they just started doing all this crazy stuff. And they got some other people that were actually part of some other stuff, but from different places. So they all join up and start this little gang set. And I'm like, I want to be a part of this. So I do all this crazy, stupid, and some of the craziest stuff I've ever done, and I'll probably never repeat out loud to hardly anybody other than the people that already know that I never got caught for at an
Right.
underage
That's smart.
thing. Was to prove myself to these people that I was worthy enough to get beat up by a bunch of them,
Yeah.
just to get a flag to wear out of my pocket.
Hmm.
To say that I was part of something, even though I didn't need to be. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I didn't have family, or anything like that. I didn't need all that. The adrenaline behind everything, behind the lying, behind the stealing, behind the other addiction that I had developed, all of it for the fast heartbeat, fast heartbeat. I'm a fast heartbeat kind of
I
guy. To this day, I'm still a fast heartbeat
I
kind of guy.
love that you said that. I want to point and forgive me for interrupting, but when I was
Adrenaline junkie.
yes, I was
That's me.
just going there. But you know what the beautiful part about you is that was the thing that was meant to destroy you, which is the adrenaline junkie, has now brought you to where you are today. So that's a perfect
100%.
example of something that is ingrained in our DNA or just, upbringing or however we've been programmed, as children and using it towards a positive because look who you are now. When did your main shift happen? What was the main shift in your life that you can recall?
My second prison sentence, doing 5 years in prison in Florida.
Hmm.
Like I said, the county jail. Then I did prison for 18 months, which I got out of prison early. I went back for 5 years. So, and
All drug
trying to do.
related?
I never actually joined a gang, and this is another
No.
part where God was in my life, real quick,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Go back to
So,
it if you
I
want.
was just a couple days out from joining a gang, and I was supposed to go do one last thing to prove myself, but I was still underage, and they knew I had a good family, and they did respect that, and they didn't make me go with them that night because I ended up going to church instead, and two or three of the main people ended up going. Not my best friend either, because he was already a part of it, but they ended up going to prison for armed robbery of a liquor store, and I was going to be their driver that night, but I didn't go. So I never joined a gang after that, but I always hung out with people that were in gangs because I loved the lifestyle. I just loved hanging out. I loved talking like a thug. I don't know. I thought I was that dude. If somebody told me to pull up, I got my butt beat more than I ever want to fight, but I would always fight every time. Up until when I changed my life in prison. So there was a couple different factors. One of the other big obstacles that I came to, of course, like I said, in and out of county jail, just messing up over and over, ruining relationships with family, boils down to 2017 going up to prison for the second time. First time I went to prison, I broke into a post office. Literally.
I'm
The day I
I'm
was
not
originally
laughing.
supposed to take off walking across America. Because I was inspired to walk across America in 2013, my first year in county, first time doing a year in county jail in 2013. Got out in 2014, got a hold of the person I read the article about. He recommended walking across America. I said I was going to take off January 1st, 2015 for two totally different causes. Ended up breaking into a post office January 1st, 2015 instead and going to prison. So I got out of prison. Oh, did you want to ask a question?
No, I
Okay.
want to explain why I'm laughing or giggling as you're talking. It's not because it's funny. It's because when I say our stories are aligned, just wait. I'm saying it's so even the jail thing. So I giggle because it's funny because I also would say that God, the energy of love, the creator of all things, whatever label you wanted to put on it, completely changed who I am. How different are you? Really? How different are you from where you were,
So,
who you were before? Well, we can go
oh,
through that, but that's a big question I want you to share because
I,
I'm
I
no.
will. So this is how I'm going to explain how different that I am. Each edition of this shirt with the names on them has 180 names, 90 on the front, 90 on the back. People that have lost their lives. The 180 specifically stands for taking a complete 180-degree turn in the opposite direction from
Yes.
those things that are taking the people that we love and care about.
Amen.
It's not just a random 180 that I'm talking about to make it sound good. It's a 180 that I've taken in my own life. So I was
Same.
I was there and now I'm there,
Right. Right.
and I'm
That's
not
the
taking
best
the
way to describe
360
it.
back.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not
like
taking the
watching a movie.
360.
Your old life, it's probably like, wow, I can't believe I survived all that.
I
Like, whoa.
spent time in prison rewiring my brain with numerous different things, with exercise, with getting back into my faith, with praying, and with meditating and reading books that were mind elevating instead of novels that were just to get my mind in a story outside of the jail. Um,
I'm
So,
falling
and
off
this is
my
the crazy
chair.
thing. And you want to talk about where God was prevalent in my life? When I
Oh,
say that I literally broke into a federal post office building, stole tons of mail, and they got me red handed with a bunch of open pieces of mail outside of the building, I never got charged federally. When I tell you the FBI, the Secret Service, postal agents, and a bunch of cop cars showed up to this federal building, I never got charged federally. I got 18 months and got out of prison early because I got in trouble.
can I just tell you I love you? And I mean that. And I'm just saying, I love your story. I love hearing it and connecting to it, and also giving hope to people who are listening that might even be in that place right now. You matter and you can change. You can change your brain to work for you instead against you. I always say our brains are our greatest gifts or curses, depending on how we use them. So
And this is where, and that's where walking for mental health, I believe so. And this is where I know that there's a difference between mental illness and mental health. Mental health everybody deals with. Not everybody has a mental illness. Not everybody's diagnosed. Some people literally have to take medication that they really don't like, and it doesn't make them feel
yeah,
good to actually function properly in a mind and society. And it's so heartbreaking, and I hate that for anybody that's in that situation.
yeah,
But when
same.
it comes to mental health, it's just like physical health. It's forcing mindsets. I used to think negatively, how I didn't want to be here, how I didn't have
Mhm.
purpose. And then I read this book, Mind is the Master, and it's not a normal book and it's not an easy read. um and I didn't read the whole book, I'll put it like that, because
I
it's a
never read a whole
giant
book. Who
book.
could do that? But go ahead.
but but this book talked about forcing yourself to think positively even when
Yep.
the hard times. And
Yes.
that's where it took me a while to think about it like this. And now I've heard many people that do think like this, and I've heard the same exact people say it in different ways and never talking to them before.
Yeah.
But like, instead of going, woe is me, this sucks, like the world hates me, I got to go through this, like, that's going to keep you there.
Yes.
But if you can take it and say, how can I take this really bad thing that I don't want to go through, and unfortunately I'm in the middle of, how can I take this, apply it to my life, become a better version of myself, and maybe even help somebody in the future that's going to go through the same thing. And then things change. If you can force yourself to think like that, if you can force yourself to think like, oh, that sucks, but this can happen, you're going to be in a great place.
And I'm going to second that fully, because that is exactly what I have had to do over the last 5 years. And still, I don't know if you experience this, but I'll still, now that I've become aware of it, grab a negative thought and be like, wait, stop myself, because now I'm aware of it, and be like, all right, how can I shift it and create that new neural pathway? We had a one of our shorts go viral that shows what it looks like to to change your brain, neuroplasticity. Anybody who
Right.
doesn't know what neuroplasticity is, look into it. We all can do it. We all can do it. What Kendall's talking about, you can do. I've done it. Many of the people that I'm connecting with have done it. And that's why this is such an exciting connection. I love that we both picked the You Matter message. I'm so grateful, because that's what drew me to you, you know? And now
Well,
listening to your story, I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense.
you know what's funny? I don't even think you matter. I might have said it and I might have hashtagged it near the beginning. I'm not sure. I didn't even have a you matter sign till like Florida to Colorado. You matter was not like my big thing at the beginning of the journey. Where
Mm-hmm.
you matter came into play is, it was, I had spent, somebody invited me in for Thanksgiving. The same person reached out, I was like, hey, I'll come pick you up if you want to come hang out with us for Christmas. And two other people reached out to come hang out for Christmas, and I was like, dang, I would hate to go accept one and then offend other two people. I was like, I want to do something different. And I'm in the mountains in the snow,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a yellow piece of construction paper and a black Sharpie. I was like, I'm just gonna write "You Matter" on a sign and go hold it out there.
Love it.
So I did 3 days in a row. It was like 2 days before Christmas, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. I'm out there, and it's windy. Like at my next day, I already had to put like black tape on the sides because it was ripping. But like I'm out there, and like people are stopping and hugging me. And actually, these were like 3 days. I'd say there was been maybe 7 full days on this journey that there's a day that like if anybody pulled over, I would not accept the donation. These were 3 of those days that I was not like, I just wanted to hold this sign. So I'm holding this sign and people are stopping and hugging me. And they're like, I really needed this today. She's like, I don't want to talk, but can I just give you a hug? And I'm just like, yeah. And then like another person pulls up and I'm like, what? So I couldn't tape that sign to the front of my cart, but every once in a while I would get into a town and just hold it for like an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm coming to Washington to the April 12th, 2023, my 4-year drug-free date was the day I put my feet in the Pacific Ocean to finish my first coast to coast. Like I
That's
doubled those.
amazing.
There was like 100 people at the beach with signs that said "You Matter" and "Don't
Oh
give
my.
up" and all this stuff, like actual vinyl signs. So from there, I got one of those signs, strapped it to my cart. So when I continued, that's where those signs. That's really where "You Matter" came into play, and I wish I would have done it from the very, very beginning, because I have had so many people pull over on the side of the road. I'd say probably 30 plus that have literally. I was on my way home to end everything until I saw that sign today, and
Yes.
it's
Did you tell me someone said they were on their way home and was going to end it until they saw that sign? Are you saying someone came to you and said that?
at least 30 people have done that, like across the country. Like it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens way too frequently.
So I just want to step in on that, because that was the message. I always said, for the people that don't know, my best friend and my husband both took their lives, and I'm a two-time survivor on the other end of that. Very similar stories to Kendall, which I'll share periodically as we go through this journey together. But we chose the You Matter message because that was the message that I knew my husband needed to hear on the day that he took his life. And we have kids, and our son is a little spitting image. And so he goes around and shares the You Matter message. And the way that we do it, and I just want to share this, is we give people flowers. So if you look at this, there's seeds inside this paper with the message that you matter. And it started a
Aw,
move. Yeah, started a movement of
I
kindness
love
that
it.
ended up reaching 36 states and 16 countries, which I'm so humbled. But we've received the same kind of feedback, Kendall, that this saved our lives. So what we did was we started a movement, and it is called the You Matter movement, and it's a movement of kindness that we encourage people to join, and it's just being intentional to reach out to one person every day and let them know that their life is valuable. And we do it with our cards. And so the way that I started out is, can I give you some flowers? Like that's always my breaking, and of course
Right, right.
person will say yes, and I'm like, here, it's to remind you that you matter and you have purpose and you can plant this and grow wildflowers. And the tears that I've received and the connections that I've made and the positive energy that has happened between connecting to an individual. I mean, little things like that.
Right.
Adding this to a tip at a restaurant, I've actually seen waitresses in tears saying, you have no idea how much I needed this message today. So I love that you shared that, because that is what the goal of Hope Unite is, and the You Matter movement is to save lives, really. And something Kendall said that I just want to point out. This picture, if you can see it back here, I call it my honor wall. So it's my friends and my loved ones that I've lost to drug addiction, suicide, and that is why Kendall and I both are doing what we're doing. But it's making a ripple effect that is creating something so beautiful from our hardest traumas. And you have the opportunity to do that too, because you matter. But anyway, on that
Thank
caveat, I
you.
just wanted, you were on the You Matter tip, and I feel like that message is so powerful. But I wanna bring attention to something. It feeds my soul to do this. I mean, the adrenaline and the energy and the connection that comes from the connecting with individuals. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Oh man. Well, I get to experience connecting with individuals on a way heavier level than
Yeah.
most people. And not that I just get to experience connecting with people on a bigger basis than most people. I get to experience the good of people
Yeah.
way more than most. Because, like, I mean, a lot of people go to the grocery stores. You might experience people, but you might get mad at the person like taking too long to move their, like, all this, that, and the other. Like, I mean, and it's not a bragging thing. I was somebody before before people knew who I was. Some places I go, people know who I am, but that has nothing to do with me as Kendall Ray Edwards. It has to do with me as a human, just heavily, openly through social media advocating for mental health and recovery. Any human can make the impact that I can make as well.
Oh,
But I do go to restaurants and I do go to stores and people do recognize me all the time and like thank me for what I'm doing. And in my head I'm like, dude, I just walk, bro. I just like to walk.
right?
That's what I tell everybody. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it, but I know it's a big deal to people because I was inspired by somebody who had walked across America. But I connect with all these people, and it's crazy. This is how awesome this journey is that I've connected with people, and sadly, I've had people reach out and be like, if you knew who that person was, you wouldn't have talked to them. Like, we know that person in our town, and I'm like, just to let you know, like, I don't see that. I see the good in everybody. If you knew who I was 5 years ago, maybe you wouldn't follow this journey.
Yes.
You know? Um,
Hmm.
and most people will stop and like turn around. Like the way that I try to talk, like this has helped me how to talk to people that believe different way. Just yesterday, because every morning on my Facebook, I post a daily Bible verse.
Hmm.
Yesterday I had a dude that was like, bro, I love what you do. He's like, but I'm not into the religion and all that stuff. And the Bible verse was just something about like love, this, that, and the other, and wisdom, and it was just something positive. It wasn't like, I was like, this is the thing, I was like, I'm not into religion, but I'm a spiritual person, bro. I was like, but if I didn't have the Bible verse at the bottom of that and you just read that as text, would you feel differently?
Oh,
And
whoa.
And
My
you know what he said? And he even said, I'm not saying I'm agreeing, but I know he agreed. Like I know he agreed, but he was like, that is an awesome response. Thank you so much. Like the way he responded, like he knew that I knew how to talk. but that brings people together instead of tears them
Right.
apart. When you know how to really think to include everybody, not
Yes.
just because I believe the way I believe doesn't mean that I hate you because you don't believe. Like, I love you wherever you're at. I don't judge you where you're at, and that's the thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Have I judged people? Yeah, some people can piss me off sometimes. It
Yeah.
happens. We're all going to be that way, but I'm not going to sit in my judgment and be like, oh, that person's this, that, and the other. I might just have a little moment like, you're a jackass because you're doing that or whatever. Excuse my language. Or you're a jerk because you're doing that. But in reality, at the end of the day, you don't know. And there's something I just saw on social media recently, and I know we're a past time, but
No, keep going.
but there's
Seriously.
something I just saw on social media. My mom shared it recently, and I've seen it before. But it's like the video of somebody getting so mad at somebody, and then it flips the script of what that person just went through
Right.
and why they're like a child that's screaming in the store with the mother and the parents like, oh, you're a terrible mother, blah blah blah. 20 minutes earlier, just getting and picking up the kid from foster care for the first time,
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to figure out what this kid likes. Like, you just don't know what somebody is truly going through.
That is
Um,
what we say all the time. I think that's even on our website, to be quite honest. Did you? I'm just saying, you don't know what they're going through. I actually find people that are me. I've started doing this. I wouldn't recommend this to everybody, but finding someone like that just is not in the best headspace, we'll say, and I'll walk up and give them one of these. That has been the most impactful that I've seen. We're all wounded people to some degree because we live on the planet Earth. And just to touch on your Bible, on the Bible scripture that you were sharing, I am also not religious. However, and I was sharing this with Kendall, I went to Bible college for 8 years. I'm very spiritual. I do believe in energy and physics, and I'm open to all sorts of different things that I wasn't open to being raised in the church. So I connect with you on that level too. And that's why I say this isn't about your political, religious, no kind of view, because ultimately God is love. And the way that I see it is it's the highest frequency. Like, love is something that when we can connect to that, we become conduits of that to other people. So I actually was reading a Bible verse the other day that said, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And if you study that from a metaphysical standpoint, guess what? Truth. Like, the words have power. You're literally, like, the way that you think has power. The way that you're, if you're brokenhearted, hurt people. Healed people.
Two-edged sword.
Right, right. So I'm all for it. High five. I can't wait to meet you. Literally, you are the person I want to meet. I mean, not that I
I
don't
can't
want to meet
wait.
other people because, great. Hey, Lincoln Jesser, love you. I'm so grateful I got to meet him. He's an ambassador of hope as well with the movement. He does sound healing. For anybody that doesn't know who Lincoln Jesser is, look him up. Sorry, got to plug him for a sec. But
I mean, whether I was out here for mental health or not, I am like Forrest Gump, and a lot of people like Forrest Gump. So I'm not trying to take everybody's spotlight, but I do love everybody for doing positive things.
yeah,
Whoever hits this podcast in the future, whoever you connect with, the people you are, thank all of y'all for what y'all do, for having a heart for
yes,
mental health and positive
yes.
things and loving each other. That's what it's all about. I still got 2,500 miles to walk starting Sunday.
Oh, I'm so excited. How can our audience connect with you? First off, I want to get this on tape that we're going to be able to meet, right? Like, I'll come to you. I need to
You,
meet you and give you a
well,
hug.
about to say, hold on. I know you've said it before. What? Just not the direct one, near close area.
Um, Fort Lauderdale / Deerfield / Pompano /
Okay, so yeah, very soon, very soon.
All right. Oh,
Yeah, so probably in the next, in beginning of March, probably,
that sounds great. So we'll stay
probably
in
beginning of
contact.
March.
Let's stay in contact. And I want you to share with the audience how they can follow your journey. And there
Um,
will be a link below as well, but share directly. How can we follow you and what you're doing, Kendall?
Absolutely. So if you would like to follow, and honestly, you don't got to follow for me. You don't even got to follow for the walk. But if you just want to follow for the mental health and recovery, or
Mm.
if you want to follow just for the adventure, maybe you don't care about mental health and recovery, or if you like me and you just want to follow for me, it doesn't matter.
I love you,
Guys, my
Scott.
name, I'm best associated with either motor oil or electronic books, but it's spelled completely different. My name is Kendall. So just like you're saying, Kendall, Kyndal is how we're going to spell that first name. All right, we're going to put a space in between that, and Ray, Ray, is going to be that middle name. Put a space there, and then we got Edwards. So I'm Kendall Ray Edwards, just Kyndal. If you're plugging Instagram, put underscores in between the words. Or if you don't want to listen to that, just Google Walking Across America for Mental Health Awareness and Recovery, and you'll probably find me on all social media platforms with news stories and stuff as well. Don't forget. But more importantly, it's not about me. It's about mental health and recovery and remembrance of our loved ones for the ones that are struggling, just to let people know that there is always hope. We got 2,500 miles, the entire East Coast from the southernmost point of Florida to the northeastern point of Maine. Hopefully, that'll be a world record. Next year, I plan on starting to do 100 miles on each continent.
Amazing.
I'm fundraising for two nonprofits. The first one, Addict to Athlete, Roman numeral 2, focused on mental health, recovery, education, recreation. As I start part 4, and this is the one I'm really going to be pushing very heavily for because they're getting people in programs and stuff like that. Addict to Athlete is amazing. They do a lot of big events and marathons and stuff like that. These people are putting a lot of people in programs called Never Alone Recovery, who I just did an event in Charleston, South Carolina called Freedom Fest this past weekend. I was a speaker over there. It was absolutely incredible. We networked and connected with a lot of people. I even just got a job as it from it as I'm traveling. So I'm in a little bit of a better spot than I was even before. I'm so grateful and thankful to be continuing. And if anybody you ever see this and I'm coming through your area, city, it's an open invite to come walk a couple miles. If you have a loved one that you want to walk in proxy for or anything like that, please come and join me. And yeah, don't forget that you matter.
Ah, love you, Kendall. I can't wait
So
to.
much love.
You've been such a blessing, such a ray of sunshine. And so thank you guys. Everything's down in the description. All right, guys, follow Kendall. Also, just really quick, if anybody is out there that needs someone to listen or to talk to, or that needs support, we do connect people to a network of support with holistic resources. Kendall, I'd love to connect with your nonprofit. Maybe that's someone we can connect with and refer to, because we do get a lot of addiction and self harm that comes through. And we always want to find other little beautiful light workers and places of hope to help people that are struggling, because we all need it sometimes. So
We all need it.
we
Absolutely.
all need it.